Hi, I'm Pam Bennett, State Master Gardener Coordinator. Let's talk about how you can turn your yard waste into black gold, such as this. Compost is a great soil amendment for your garden. It helps to improve drainage and increase the quality and structure of your garden soil. Pick an area in your yard that's open, has good drainage, and is easily accessible because you're going to be piling up all your yard waste. This is a typical purchased compost bin, and they're good for small gardens or small backyards. However, if you have a lot of yard waste, you might want to consider building your own compost structure. You can use concrete blocks, recycled wood-like material, chicken wire, or plastic-coated fencing material. For a really big compost bin, consider using this pallet system. One section is for brand new yard waste, another section is for half composted yard waste, and the final section is for the finished product. There are 5 essential ingredients for successful composting: brown stuff, green stuff, fertilizer for the organisms, water, and oxygen. First thing you do to build a compost pile is add a layer of about 4 inches of brown stuff. Air or oxygen is going to come from either turning the compost pile or incorporating large pieces of wood like pine cones, large pieces of branches, or anything that gives you a little bit of air space. The next thing you do is add 4 inches of green stuff. After the green stuff, add a light layer of already finished compost. This is going to provide the microorganisms that are needed to break down the green stuff and the brown stuff. The next layer is about a cup of fertilizer. This fertilizer is high in nitrogen and again feeds the microorganisms that are doing the job. Then finally, you want to water the compost pile. Don't put too much water in to make it real wet. Only add enough to make it somewhat of a damp sponge. Finish building your pile to the top of the compost bin. When you're building your bin, the size should be 3 by 3 by 3 up to 5 by 5 by 5. This is where you're going to get the best composting to occur. After you've completed the pile, let it sit for a couple weeks and let the microorganisms do their job. Then take your pitchfork and turn the compost pile. This helps to increase the air circulation, allowing again for the organisms to continue their work. The 3-bin system makes it really handy when it comes to turning the compost pile. You can start out with the newly composted material and put it into the 2nd bin to break down even further, and then when that's finished, put it into the 3rd bin to be the usable product. Fall is a good time to build a compost pile because you have lots of leaves and lots of yard waste coming from the garden. However, a good rule of thumb is anytime you have the debris, that's the time to build a compost pile.
For more information on your gardening questions or to talk to a gardening expert, visit plantersplace.com.